Hello guys, today's video is going to be more of occasional talk. In the background you'll see one of my time lapses while I'll be talking about artblock, a fear that haunts most artists. Some experience it occasionally, while for others it's a constant struggle. I want to break this down in a way that helps you understand what to do if you ever run into it. Well, it's quite simple. Artblock is when you want to draw but can't, or don't even want to. There are many reasons behind it, but I divide them into two main categories. It's emotional and physical. I have identified 8 main causes of artblock. Maybe some of this will sound familiar to you. The first one is lack of inspiration. Sometimes ideas just won't come and any attempt to brainstorm feels pointless. You open a blank canvas and nothing. Next one is loss of motivation. This one is a little different. You have ideas but no drive to bring them to life. Emotional exhaustion. When you push yourself too hard or go through stressful situations, drawing stops being enjoyable. Physical fatigue. It's simple. If you don't sleep well, if you don't eat properly, if you have health issues, art naturally falls to the bottom of your priority list. Another reason is not being happy with your work. Artists tend to have high expectations for themselves, and when a piece doesn't turn out the way we want, it can kill the motivation to keep going. Self-sabotage. That inner fear that stops you from taking action. I experienced this after some situations with my work. Chaotic workspace. If your workspace is messy or your files are all over the place, your brain sees the whole process as more complicated than it actually is. The scariest one for me is losing interest in drawing, when you catch yourself thinking, why am I even doing all this stuff? I have been drawing since I was a kid, and the older I got, the more I knew that art was going to be my life. I had to constantly prove my choice to those who questioned or criticized it. I graduated from an art school, got into an academy, and I made this decision fully consciously. It wasn't something random, I always knew I wanted to be an artist. But even with such a serious approach, I have faced art blocks regularly. Different kinds. Sometimes it was self-doubt, sometimes pure exhaustion, and more often the pressure of choosing an unserious profession, When you study at an art academy, you are expected to be highly productive with assignments, and developing skills in digital art also requires consistency, so for me, art blocks are a luxury I can't afford. So, how I learned to overcome art block? The first thing I realized, if you are physically exhausted, fighting art block is pointless. So my first recommendation is proper sleep. Pulling all-nighters doesn't make you more productive. Trust me, well-painted artworks on zero sleep are the exception, not the rule. If you're a teenager watching this, I want to mention something from my own experience and my colleagues. A lot of young artists tend to draw at night because it's the only time they won't be interrupted. But honestly, it's just poor time management and the inability to handle distractions properly. For me today, I set strict alarms for sleep and wake up times after researching how to improve my sleep quality. My second recommendation for you is walks and physical activity. Fresh air, a change of scenery, simple things that actually work. Recently, I have been making myself go out into nature every other day for an hour or two, and the effect has been undeniable. You feel happier, more inspired, and full of energy. I continue to be banal, bear with me a little longer. Artists tend to forget to eat because just 5 more minutes and I'll finish this, that. Especially students, we simply don't have time due to poor time management. But if you don't eat well, you won't have energy to work. Drawing isn't just a mechanical process, it's intellectual work that requires your focus, your analytical thinking, your creativity. That's why understanding how nutrition affects the brain is so important. A proper diet can improve your memory, your attention, and thinking speed, helping us reach our full artistic potential. I'm just an artist, so I'll leave the research on this topic up to you. Less mindless scrolling, please. Scrolling social media is easier than drawing, but it drains motivation and distractions from actual work. When I want a break after a long day, I have swapped scrolling for my sketchbook or books. By the way, you can see my sketches in my highlight called sketchbook. The key here is taking action, not just hearing me say it, thinking I am stating the obvious and moving on. I insist that you, and I along with you, try things out and draw our own conclusions. Analyze information critically and experiment to see what works best for you. Once I fixed my physical issues, I started tackling the mental ones. I think this part of the video is more interesting. I stopped being afraid of a blank canvas after going through tons of info and testing different approaches. If you have felt this too, let me know in the comments. I'm planning a video on this, but you can speed up its release. I made my workspace as comfortable as possible. I put up my academic works around my den, hung posters of other artists near my desk, customized my Photoshop interface to fit my needs, and neatly organized my reference files into folders. This helps me avoid unnecessary frustration and start working faster with more enthusiasm. I established habits and rituals, a cup of tea before working, a playlist of my favorite music, or watching my favorite streamer, warm lighting, comfy chair, or how long I saved up for my leather chair. Totally worth it. These small things make the process smoother and keep you from overthinking tiny inconveniences that can lead to art blocks. I changed my expectations for myself. The goal isn't to compare myself to others but to track my own progress. I even put up a habit tracker above my laptop with the key actions I need to take to grow as an artist and a person. It's satisfying to fill in each circle and see real progress. As for other artists or famous masters, learn from them. That's it. You will never catch up to someone who started before you, unless they suddenly die much earlier than you. And one more thing, you have to actually do it. When we procrastinate, it feels like we are resting, but in reality we are just stressing ourselves out. If you start drawing, you'll either get into the flow or realize it's not your day and let yourself off the hook. And that's okay. I confronted my self-sabotage. There was a time when I feared drawing because it contributed to the growth of my social media. A fear of success, ironically. I was scared of the changes that came with stepping into the public eye as a media artist. And this is a very real cause of artblock. I have prepared a detailed story about this in my Instagram highlights artblock, along with the steps that helped me. A little bonus for the curious ones. Honestly, I don't believe in waiting for inspiration. Artists can't afford to rely on their mood. We either work or we don't. And I'm saying this mostly to remind myself. But of course, art blocks happen to everyone. Knowing how to deal with them is our key. Forewarned is forearmed, as my compatriots say. I hope my story and tips help both me and you keep drawing amazing things instead of getting stuck in our own thoughts and struggles. Have you ever experienced art block? What caused it and how do you deal with it? I would love to hear your thoughts and experiences. Let's chat in the comments. I'm really interested. And as always, feel free to check out my Patreon, even just out of curiosity. Every month there is more and more content there, and your support means the world to me as an artist and creator. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.